right, Grandma and Grandpa, we are going to be interviewing about your life story. Are you ready?
Sure.
Ready as we can be.
All right. Can you tell me your names and what everyone calls you?
My name is Suzanne Correo, spelled with a Z, and I'm called Suzy, Suzy.
What about what your grandkids and stuff call you?
Grandma Suzy. That's mostly what they call me.
Grandpa?
My name is Gene Carreo, and they call me Geno.
And what do your grandkids call you?
My grandkids call me Pop.
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 Grandpa.
Grandpa.
All right. Where do you live right now?
In Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
How long have you been married?
Oh, forever it seems.
We figured it out. Remember how long? Grandpa, you knew.
65
years.
65 years. Retirement age.
That's
how
right.
How long you've been married. All right. Tell me about your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids.
Who's supposed to say?
You can go ahead.
Well, my kids, to start out with, I had a little girl for the first one when we first got married. And her name was Deborah Ann. She didn't make it. She only weighed 1 pound and 13 ounces. And a year later, then I had Tony. It's funny, but all my kids were in the month of May. Tony was May 6th of 62. Tim was May 14th of 64. And Todd was May 18th of 69. Do you want the grandkids too?
We can talk about the grandkids. You got a lot of grandkids?
Well, we got Crystal, who was a leap year baby, February the 28th. Then came, I don't know all that. Let's see. Was
David.
David came next, and he was, his birthday was, right offhand, I can't think of all this.
Okay, you don't need to tell us their birthdays.
Yeah, David came.
How old they are if you want.
He's 29 now, and come Lexi. Well, he's going to be 30, and then I think Lexi's going to be 29 probably this year, isn't he? Lexi's next, and then comes, you could fill it.
Ben.
Ben comes, and he's, 26, I think he is now. And then comes Jenna. And she's just celebrated her 21st birthday. This is last year. Then comes Sam. And he's in college, and he's in his third year of college. And then comes TJ.
How old is TJ?
9. He must be 19, going to be.
He's 18.
18, he's going to be 19 this year.
And he just graduated high school early.
That's right. He graduated this year.
And what about your great-grandkids?
Boy, you could answer some of them. What about the grandkids?
Great-grandkids.
The great ones. You can talk to them.
Yeah, sure. And I don't know, he's turning 5.
He is 5. He turned 5.
Oh, I thought it was tomorrow.
April 19th.
Tomorrow.
Okay. And then you got Leo, who is going on, a year and a half?
I mean, he'll be 2 in August.
Right.
So, a little older than that, but yeah. And they're a handful, as you guys witnessed the other day when you were over.
Yes, they are. Those are the fun years.
All
But
right.
I can do. But it's funny that Asher was born on my mother's birthday. And I always remember Asher's birthday. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I feel like that connects him to her in a way.
In some ways, I always think of the two.
There's not many April birthdays. He's one of the few.
Yeah,
I got a lot of May.
lots of me.
Lots of May. Because me and Lexi both married someone that was in May too.
Yeah,
Ryan's in May, and so is Thomas.
that's right.
All May. All of them are May. All the boys. All right. Ready for childhood? We're going to talk about a little bit your childhood.
It goes back.
What is one thing you remember about your house growing up? Both, either of you can answer.
You want to say something about yours first?
We'll go ahead with yours. I'm thinking about mine.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, my lifestyle was, when I was born, the house that I lived in was an old bakery that my mother, the nurse that found this old bakery, because my dad had to go into a sanitarium. He had tuberculosis. So Mom had three of us. When Howie was 3, Howie was 3, and Norman was 2, and then here comes me. And she didn't know what to do. She was all alone with 3. So she cleaned up this old bakery, and it was the best place. We didn't have much money. We were very poor. And we had this big fort downstairs. It was an old oven and a coal bin down in the stairs. We played down there. We were black with the coal and soot from the bakery bin. And we had cops and robbers. We would wear those uniforms one would wear the sheriff uniform, and we would be chasing each one around the furnace because you could go around in circles. We still talk to this day about how much fun we had down in that basement. And plus, I had a swing down there. When we did play cops and robbers, we'd swing. And that was a fun time we had in our basement all the time. Mom knew where we were at all times, making lots of noise down there. She knew.
All right, Grandpa, what do you remember about your house growing up?
My house was, my dad bought a house in Shorewood, and the grass was at least 3 to 5 feet high. And we had to cut it to get to the front door of the house. And we got in there, and a lot of mice were in there, and who knows how many years people weren't living in that house. And my dad had to do a lot of remodeling and stuff in it. And we had 2 brothers. I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And we had, can't think of what else. It was in Shorewood, Wisconsin. And
what did you do for fun as a kid? Grandma talked a little bit about what she did for.
We went out, and the kids in the neighborhood and I would always go out and play baseball. The girls, they just stayed in the house most of the time because they were still pretty young. And there was different things that one time we walked, my dad had to park his car quite a ways away. And all 4 of us walked all the way down in Milwaukee to find the car. And when I got back home, my dad was really mad. He said, "You guys are crazy, going that distance for going to look at a car." And that was one of the things. And the house itself, we had a remodel. We put an addition onto the house, and it was high school. I remember one time we were in in grade school, and kids were out on the playground, and we had a record snowfall. So there was about 14 or 15 kids start making a snowball, and they rolled a snowball up into the school doorway, and the thing was huge. And the principal couldn't even get out of the school. He was so mad at us. He started yelling, "What's the matter with you kids making a big snowball like that?" And they had to go and get somebody from the maintenance department and would made a there's like a ditch digger or a front end loader and break the snowball up before all the kids and the rest of the principal and the rest of them could come out of the school.
I don't remember that story.
What was
That's
that?
funny.
You want to talk about?
Grandma, do you have anything else that you did for fun as a kid that you
I'm
remember?
trying to think of something right offhand. No, I can't think of anything like that.
What about Grandpa? Do you remember the trips with your dad up north? You wanna
And
tell
my
us
dad
about that?
always liked to go up to Minnesota, Cloquet, Minnesota, and he always tried to break the record he had from the year before, and would not allow those kids to even stop for going to the bathroom or anything. And it was to a point where it really had to go bad, so he finally had to stop. But he says, "You're going to ruin my record. Last year I did it so much time. I think it was 10 hours. And he said, I like to make it in 8 hours this time." So when we went up there on the farm, my grandma and grandpa had a farm out there, and we went out and watched them milking cows and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. It was once every year we went up to do that. That's about all I can remember as far as vacations and stuff going. And but the funniest thing was everybody you tell somebody that my dad always wanted to break a record for making it up north. And he said, "What was the reason for it?" He said, "He just wanted to be next time wanted to break the record from the year before." So, what about one year did you have when your brother died? The funniest thing is when you and Lexi were in the car, and she was over by the gravesite, and they were looking down, and then we were sitting in the car, and then you asked, "Where'd Grandma go?" And Lexi says, "She's waiting for her brother to wake up."
After when at the funeral?
Yeah, we were at the funeral at the burial site. And Lexi come up with the answer.
There.
She's waiting for her brother to wake up.
And they were lowering him down, and I was standing there, and she says, she's just had to wait for him to wake up.
That's kind of sad.
We're all laughing, sitting in the car, you and I, and Grandma were just laughing because she made that statement. She was pretty young then.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first day you met?
What was the first day you met?
Where were you?
At my house. Well, you have to tell the story because you met Russ. Sue, you were what, driving?
I was coming home from work. I was tending bar, and I spotted my friend Russ, and he waved at me, so I stopped, and he says, "Would you like to meet this girl? She's pretty nice." And the girl that he was going with says, "Yeah, I know this girl. She's pretty good. Let's go over some night, and I'll introduce you." So we went over there about a week later or something, and she went and knocked on the door, and and her mother says, "You can't go no place. It's too late at night." And it was about 6:37 at night. It's too late for her to be going out. And then she said, "Well, I just want to go down and see my friend Sue." So she came down there, and then my eye caught her, and I said, "Boy, that's the girl that I like to meet really good and go out on a date."
What do you remember most about that day?
What do I remember? That particular day he came over is right. He rang the doorbell. I lived upstairs at a duplex, and we had to come down these long steps. And as he's standing in the doorway, I was actually going to school yet. I was in senior in high school, and I would be graduating in a couple months. But I did a lot of babysitting for my mom. I had two younger, a brother and a sister. So when he came over, I yelled up and I said, "Mom, can I go out just to the ice cream parlor?" down the way. They want to go over there. It's early. It's only 6:30. Mom, can I go with them? And like she said, no, I wasn't allowed to. So the main thing is the fact that I said, okay. So I called that night when they left. I called my friend Marlene and I said, Marlene, you got to do me a favor. Because I said, I want to go out with this guy. And my girlfriend was my locker partner. Her and I were in the same classes together in high school. And I said, we want to all, the four of us, go out. And I can't go because my mom won't let me go at all. But if I tell her I can go to catechism and I'll go with you to catechism class, she'll let me go. So we snuck out for several times to catechism and I never went. But she lied and we had more fun doing different things, of going to different places, ice cream place, and we went out. I don't know, where else did we go? To different...
We went to the lakefront and watched submarine races.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the submarine races
Submarines,
are? That
the
for people
smooching,
that don't know.
kissing, hugging and kissing and pretending that there were submarines out there on Lake Michigan. And when everybody asked where you were, we went to watch the submarines. And submarines? Yeah, they did races last night.
Who talked more back then?
He did. I was very shy, very quiet, basically. The one thing I remember is the time we did go out later on. My mom finally let me go out. And we went to the drive-in. And at that time, they used to, I just don't know if they still do, if they have 3 movies. And we were watching the movies and we both fell asleep. And at that time, they had fed movies through your radio station. So we had the radio station on, and all of a sudden this song came up, Wake Up Little Suzy. And I can't believe how that woke me up. And I'm looking and I said, oh my God, my mom's going to kill me. I was supposed to be home at midnight and here it's 5 o'clock. So he drove me and snuck in, and I ran up the stairs and Mom was in the kitchen, and I ran into my bedroom and I hid there for a few minutes, and I got up, messed up my bed and said, oh, I had a good night's sleep. And Mom didn't know, never told her that I was at our drive-in theater. Still to this day, I never told her that.
What did a normal day look like when you were raising kids?
Oh, so busy. It was fun. I enjoyed it very much, but he worked a lot late at night, so I was out in the booties. Well, at first we had the apartments, and we lived in apartments where I didn't drive, so I never had a car. I would walk with a buggy as they had, and I'd wear out these wheels, and we'd have to replace the wheels because I'd walk for hours and just take the bottle and keep it in the a bag with ice in there, and we'd walk around, and I'd just see different things, but it was dirt roads, basically. And I came back and made the kids. That's when Tony was little. Mostly I'm talking about. But then when we moved in a different place, when we had Tim, and then I'd take 2 of them along and we'd walk to the park and walk, because it was dirt roads out that way, and they were putting in the roads out on Titonia. There was nothing around, not a building, just this apartment building that we moved to. And I just kept very busy. He didn't come home until 11 at night, so I was totally kept myself pretty busy until Tony loved to go. The thing that I remember the most in that apartment was the fact that he was 2 years old and he liked to ride on this one car. And he'd push his feet and keep going up and down the sidewalk. And Tim I had brought home at this apartment, and it had a heavy door there, and he couldn't open that door. He wanted to always go out and ride that car. So I put a broom in it, and the downstairs lady, she called the health department on me. So the two guys came out and they knocked on my door, and I said, and he said, "Oh, I see you have another child." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, you put a broom in that door." And I said, "Yeah, I know. He can't open that door. His hand, it's too hard and heavy, and I'm going up and down the stairs, and I got Tim there, and I can't. It's so much running up and down the stairs." And he says, "I'll tell you what, she's complaining it's a health hazard. Cut off that bottom part and put a stick in there. There's nothing she can do about that." And he could get his hand in there and come on back up the stairs, and we would do that. And she was so mad. But he was able to ride up and down on his own, and it really made it. She was a very hard person to live with. He would send her kids in high heels running around. He'd work nights, and she'd stop and let those kids run around all over in high heels. Can you, boom, 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 boom. He'd get so mad. One day that woman, I was taking the clothes I washed and dried and came upstairs with the clothes, and her husband pulled me down the stairs by my collar, and all my clothes fell out of my basket, and I don't say all of them, but most of them fell down. And he said, "When my wife's talking to me, you listen to my wife." And he pulled me right down the stairs. And she said that to me. And when he came home, I told him the story of what he did to me. And he went right downstairs, and she opened the door. And he put his foot in there. And he said, "Where's your husband?" And he said, "He's not here." And he said, "Well, next time I see him, you better make damn sure I don't see him again." They moved out that next month. He was so afraid of him because he used to be a bouncer. He didn't want to be anywhere near him ever.
Did you travel a lot right away or later on?
That'll let you do that. Nope, we didn't travel. We had to save money to travel.
We traveled to World's Fair in New York. We had Tim, and Tim was a little baby then, and Tony. And we went to New York World's Fair. We had a lot of fun there. My sister and her husband was living there at the time, and we moved in with them. And there was something about the toilets in the building. They all clogged up. And she had to go to the bathroom so bad. And he said, "You gotta wait an hour or so before we can unclog all the drains and everything." And she was pacing around, had to go so bad. I'm surprised she didn't wet her pants. She had to go.
But that story was the fact that you went there, and then the thing that I remember the most was his parents he drove all that ways there. And then his parents were leaving to go to the airport. She asked if he could drive him to the airport, and his eyes were so bloodshot from driving so long. So he drives, and Suzy said, "Okay, that's fine, we'll drive. Can you just drive him to the airport and back?" Well, that was fine, driving him there and dropping him off at the airport. But she got lost. She didn't know where it was. We were driving for hours afterwards, just trying to find her place. You remember that?
No.
It was terrible. It was something else. When I think back.
What about going to Disney with the kids? When was your first Disney trip with the kids?
At 75, and we went the first time in 75. We had to save our money. It was hard to go traveling because we just didn't have the money. We had to take it out of money that we had and put it aside, and it was struggling, and we wanted to get a camper and rent one and stay on the premises so that they could go and do different things. It was so exciting when we rented the brand new camper you could rent from this gas station. So we did go down there, like I say, in 75, and we stayed right there. It was so much fun. And you got a pamphlet that you could go on these different rides. And one wanted to go on this ride and one wanted to go on that ride, but you couldn't use the pamphlet. You could only do it once, and you had to make a decision which one they could go on it. Oh, it was fighting all the time. I want this one, and they want that one. And I said, I was so glad they dropped that when we went again in 79. But it was fun in the campgrounds because you had them going down the lagoon at midnight, and they'd be singing and that right behind us. And it was so much fun.
What about Hawaii and Alaska?
That was later on in that's our 25th.
25th anniversary with the
Yeah.
Hawaii. That was a fun trip.
We went with Jim and Joanne on our 25th. That was his cousins from up north in Duluth, Minnesota. They went along. The four of us went. That was a fun time. We went for 11 days. And when we got there, it was unbelievable because you couldn't use your credit card or something. We had to sit on the sidewalk. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He did have the right credit card. They wouldn't let us rent a car. You had to check. What was it? We had to check something, and we were sitting there at least 2 hours on the sidewalk waiting for him to get some kind of approval to get this car so that we could go and get a place to stay and get a car rental. We couldn't get a rental car at all. And then we went every day. We were planning. Joanne and I planned to go see something. We went to the night shows, and we went to the luau's, and we went to everything we could think of. And when we got home, we were so tired, we couldn't wait to go home. We said, what a trip that was. I felt like I was on vacation. Never laid out, but for an hour or two, and then we had to go someplace. It was so much fun, but so much. And then Jim loses his camera. All his pictures were lost. It was unbelievable, but fun.
Yeah, most vacations don't exactly end up relaxing.
No, you never plan every day, but
Yes.
that was the one thing we did not realize. It was that fun then. Because she wanted to see this, I wanted to see that. We'll just plan everything. And we both said that was too much. But it was a lot of fun. And then the campgrounds was so much. Tim and Tony could go on a boat across the lagoon. Tony was old enough that he could go and Tim could go with him, but Todd was too little, so he had to stay back with us. And they went and made their own pizzas. They could go across, and you could actually go in there and make their own dough and make your own pizzas and stay there and come back by yourself. You could never do that now. Not allowed to go anywhere alone.
What about Alaska?
Alaska, we went on a cruise, and that was a fun trip. We went on the trail after the cruise ship, and that was a lot of fun too.
But on the ship, what happened? What do? We had more fun on the ship by coming. Just before we left the ship, we were called to the captain's office, just us two. Now, what would you worry about the fact that you called to the office of the captain? All I thought about is drugs. They found some drugs in our luggage. And I was just building, and then they had us sit there. And of course, the captain is not in the office. So we're sitting there, and I'm waiting and waiting. Oh my God, what in the world could he want with us? And finally he comes in, and he sits down and introduces himself. And I'm looking at him, and I must have had a scared look. And he said, it's not something to be scared about. I just want to tell you, you won a free trip to anywhere you want for 1 week within the next year, wherever you want to go. So we wound up going to the Panama Canal the next year, and we added another week on. So we went for 2 weeks to the Panama Canal. 1 week free and 1 week we paid for, which was fabulous. Oh, we had so much fun.
What was it like having Tony as a toddler?
That one, you could talk that one.
He tried to get into everything, and he was no fun a lot of times. And then one time we went on a trip up north, And we went to the gas station to get gas, and wife and I both went to the bathroom in there, and him and Tim were sitting in the car. Well, what do you think? Tony pushed down the button on the door, and we couldn't get in the car. And we kept telling him, pull it up, pull it up. And he would not even, he laughed about it, and he walked away from it. So finally I was in the convertible, and I reached my hand under where the vinyl top comes down, and be able to unlock the door. And he always thought there was nothing wrong with that. I didn't do nothing wrong.
Tony was a real little stinker. He was into a lot of things, but the thing that I remember the most about him, it was you could put him in a playpen. He would boost his arms up and could climb. He was such a climber always. And he was a very fast learner. He was on a potty chair. Within 9 months, that kid was able to grab his book, go potty. He loved to go potty. And he would take his run to get his book, and he'd go potty, and he was done for the day. I couldn't believe how fast he was. But Tim, I thought he was going to wear diapers to school with him. I could not get him to go to the bathroom for anything. He just had no desire to do it. That's the difference between the two kids.
Yeah.
But Tony loved to climb in. I had the bed up, and I always worried Tony would climb over the bed and get into Tim's bed, and they'd sit and play with the toys in bed. And it had that old-fashioned bed, which is illegal. Actually, you should be using those. All you had to do is hit that, and that thing would flip down. He knew how to push that thing down and come out of bed right away. So I gave up on the bed when and let Tim get in there. 2 years old, he was in the bunk bed because I was tired of him climbing out all the time. He would be a stinker. He was into all kinds of things.
What about Todd? How was he as a kid?
He was into things, but not so bad. He was a pretty good kid. He liked to get into things, I got to tell the one story, but Tim, he was a meanie when Tony was sitting in front of the TV, and Tim was playing with the toys, and he got into one of my drawers, and I have a spoon about this long, a ladle, and had a handle on it. He walks up and he conks Tony right on the head. Oh, remember that? Right in front of the TV set. I'll never forget that. And you're sitting and watching TV, and Tony didn't expect that one. Little stinker he was. Todd was good. He was a boy. He liked to get into things, but he had his two brothers to keep him busy. He was not a bad kid. I can't think of much that he did wrong.
Well, you can tell what about Tim one. He wasn't old enough to go to school, and then
That's right.
Got on the school bus coming down the street, and Tim put on this jacket, and he walked up, got on the bus, and he went to school. He wasn't even old enough to go to school. And the school calls us and says, your son is here at the school. I said, no, he ain't in the room. Oh, he's here at the school. He put on a jacket and a hat, and he went to school.
I still can't believe that to this day. And I couldn't get him because he was at work. So I said I could only walk to school and get him with a coaster wagon. And so they said, well, since he wanted to come to school, I'll keep him here today. And he got on the school bus. I still couldn't believe he actually got on the school bus without even the bus driver knowing that he did belong on that bus. As I was looking all over the subdivision, wondering where he was. And here he's in school.
What was it like becoming grandparents?
I thought it was great. I couldn't believe that I was going to be a grandparent. We had the big, exciting grand showers for the kids, and then had the big one at my house, and I invited everyone. I was just so excited about being a grandparent. Loved the idea. I couldn't wait. How about you?
That's when your mother came up and said, I got a great surprise for you. You're going to be a grandparent. I said, what?
Yeah. It was it.
And who was it? It was Crystal. She was born.
So the first.
We were the first. It was fun. We took care of you a lot too.
Yeah.
Babysat for you a lot. Because then you moved in with us. That even made it better.
You know, you guys were like my second parents.
Yeah. You went on all our vacations. You went to Vegas. You went up north with us. I can still see you playing as you got older. You must have been about 2 years old on the plane. And you were playing these games in it. That person walking by says, boy, you got her tray playing all little games on the airplane here. She was such a good little girl. I said, she always is a good little girl.
Lots of practice traveling from my early age.
Boy, I'll say you were on the plane always.
What did you love most about having your grandkids over?
The thing I remember the most of having all the kids, I tried to have as many kids as I could in the group. Geno loved to make up games, and you guys would have so much fun playing these different kinds of games. She'd use tickets, put them all around the house and put them on our walls and on our doorways and make these different games with the it was so much fun, the things that you guys created. They'd make forts with blankets, with my cushions of my couch, and it was just one big mess in my living room, but you had so much fun, and I just loved to hear the laughter. And then you would take our dog and put him in the stroller and dress him up as best you could, and he'd be the little baby or niece. It was so much fun. I wish I would have filmed more of it. It was so much fun to listen to you guys having so much fun. You couldn't wait to come back and play again. Mm-hmm. It was so much, and I'd have many kids. They still remember, all of them, no matter how old they were. They said, "I still remember your house and all your forts that we made with your cushions of your couch." And I still have the same couch. It never wrecked the couch.
Well,
You had a lot of sleepovers at your house,
Oh yeah.
sleeping on your floor in your room.
you guys were there all the time sleeping.
Yeah. Always set up your mattresses and all
And then
that.
Jenna and Sam later on, they were there all the time.
But you slept on a. But she's saying that. Remember when they slept on right in our bedroom, and then they watched TV with us, and they slept on the floor right there. Yeah, I remember that. Those were fun. I miss those days.
Yeah, well, you've got great grandkids.
Yeah, but they don't come over as much as you guys did.
No.
Yeah, you guys are too busy.
What do you remember most about Christmas mornings?
Oh,
It was a mad rush at night because I had to try to assemble. In those days, most of the stuff you bought, you had to assemble it. So I'd be assembling all these toys and everything before the time the kids woke up. And they usually got up around 6 in the morning, and sometimes I got to bed, sometimes I didn't. So then we got that one time where we got that pool table, and I carried it all in. Bought I had the sheet, the top part of it that came in 3 pieces, and I had to carry it down the steps, all 3 pieces, and then assemble it before they woke up in the morning. And the felt that was on it, I had to glue that down too. So, and then they couldn't believe it. Santa was here and brought that big table. How did he get it in here?
Yeah, that's impressive. You probably stayed up all night that night.
Yeah.
oh. You'd have bikes to put together and parts missing on the bike, and you had to try to get it all together and find parts for the wax because they didn't give her all the parts of it. Oh, it was so much fun.
Can you tell me about the box inside of a box?
That's I should get back to doing that. I love doing that. I'd have box inside of a box. I'd always have one gift for one kid. I picked out, and I'd buy a small gift of some sort, and then be one box inside of another box, inside of another box, and inside of another box, inside of another box, and I wrapped each one of them. So they'd have to open 7 to 8 boxes, and they'd have to be opening, and they get so mad because they have to open these other boxes, and we'd all be laughing. It was so much fun to see that. And I made one up. The thing I remember most was my son's gift. I wrapped this big item, and it looked like a weight thing, like a lifting weights. And he said, "Mom, what are you trying to tell me? I need to lose weight." And I said, "Why would I buy you something like that?" And I said, "No, I'm not trying to. But everybody gotta try to guess what it is." Nobody could guess what it was until he opened it. Here it turned out to be a curved shovel, but I made it look like a weightlifting thing. And he thought I was trying to tell him to exercise more. And he was so mad at me. I'll never forget that.
We did get exercise by shoveling the snow when he opened it up.
That's true.
That's
That is a
right.
lot of work. What were holidays like at your house?
Holidays. Busy, you mean?
I just mean, like, remember the Easter egg hunts that you guys did?
Oh,
All that kind of stuff.
Easter egg hunt was fun. I always hid everyone's eggs. They would have to go out in the yard and go look in the woods for all the eggs. And I divided it up, and we would hide certain sections. Everyone had to go out and find their eggs. They had so many to look for. And then the back part was the boys, and then the closer ones were the girls. They didn't have to struggle so. But the one time I'll never forget, David went out there and there were no eggs. They were all gone. And he couldn't figure out, "Grandma, did you forget me?" And I said, "No, I put your eggs out there. Here I find out she had a party next door and I didn't know it. And they took all his eggs." So we had to divide up. Everybody had to share their eggs and give them to him because he couldn't. And he was so mad he didn't get anything. And then I hid one. I always had one egg that had a $20 bill in it. And they had to go and find it. Anybody eligible, and they could find that one. And nobody could find it. Then finally, the one came down to they were in a flower pot, and they were getting so close. And then Ben found it, and David was so bad. Of course, everybody always gets it, but me. I never find these. "Grandma, why do you make it so hard to me? The girls get it easy, and I always have to have that hard." That's how I stopped doing the $20 one. After that, it was too hard for them.
I mean, then we would find eggs years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had, I would be finding 15, 28, and we had a snowstorm, and they would be hidden somewhere, and I couldn't even find them until the snow melted.
Yeah. Why spaghetti on Christmas?
It's a tradition. We always, I believe it's Italian tradition. We always have spaghetti on Christmas.
Did you have spaghetti on Christmas growing up?
Yeah, we had spaghetti, and my grandparents had spaghetti when we would go over to her house for Christmas. And then we went to her mother's, and he always served turkey and ham.
Well, I'll never forget the time that I finally got to meet his grandpa. The true Italian came, and he couldn't speak English at all. And he'd always said, come, you eat spaghetti. That's all he could say to me. So I went and had some spaghetti. He was at his aunt's house, Aunt Mary and Aunt Rosie's house, and we went over there. Well, my mom was one for we were lucky to have salt and pepper on. She was not one for spice. So we go and have that. I never tasted anything so spicy in my life. Water. Do you have some water with this food? And he couldn't figure out why. Why? What's so wrong with the spaghetti? That's all he said. It's hot, no hot, no hot. I thought hot. I still see him to this day. He was such a nice guy, but he couldn't speak English. He was true Italian, very hot spaghetti, but good. Soon that was tradition. Everyone eats it, and that's still to this day. Everybody's got that recipe. I think you got it even.
I mean, Grandpa told me roughly what to do. I don't think he has an exact recipe. He just whips it up, right?
Just slap it together.
Now
What's the recipe?
What's the recipe?
What'd you tell me the recipe was?
Brown your onions and garlic in olive oil until they get golden brown. Then you put tomato paste in there, salt and pepper, and basil and stuff like that to make the sauce. And then you add your water and stuff to thin it out a little bit.
you put that tomato sauce too.
I
Okay.
And you
put a
add
big enough.
some beer.
Yeah, and I always added beer to it to thin it out also.
That's a
And
good
then
enough flavor.
Yeah. I think so. The beer is what does it. I don't know what it is. but
My
it
mother
gives
used to
it
make
a
homemade
flavor.
noodles, and she hang them over all the chairs in the house. That they
Broomstick.
didn't have noodle makers. You had to roll them out by yourself. And one year they used a broomstick straw, and then they rolled it on the broomstick straw, and then they had the hole in the middle. But they pulled what is it, the broomstick part of it out of it, and then you had, like it was regular made that way. And everybody wanted to know how you got that hole in the middle of the noodle. And here it was that straw from the broom.
Didn't the noodles get dirty being everywhere around the house?
Oh,
Like,
you
aren't they
boil
like
them.
sticky?
Well, it had to be a new broom. They didn't use an old broom.
use one.
I know, but you said she put it all over the house, so I'm just
She hang
imagining
it over all the chairs and all over.
like things gotta
Let
be
it-
dusty and stuff.
Let it just get out.
Laid across and put
Well, she put
noodles
a towel
in
over
it.
the chair.
I'm just imagining it just laid on the couch.
Right.
No.
That's
Had to be out in the open. That's how she ate them. But they were very thick noodles. That's how they are. And I myself didn't like them. She always made separate ones for me because they're so heavy. You could only have like a small amount of them because they lay in your stomach like a lump. I didn't like them. I said, I don't like them like that. But they liked them. I mean, and they grew up on them.
who did all the cooking mostly. I know when the kids were young, you were mostly doing everything, but what about later on?
I still did most of the cooking because he was gone a lot of times. Now he does a lot more cooking, but I did a lot more making the meals and that stuff because he didn't get back home until late. But I think we do a fair share of it. That's how it was when he was home later on. Yeah.
Yes, he retired.
When he retired, then he took over making the meals. Because I still work. I'm still working full time.
And you're how old?
85, and I haven't given up working yet. I've been working ever since I was 16. So I'm still going strong yet. Doctor said, keep going. It's healthy for you.
Grandma, how many kinds of cookies did you make?
Oh my gosh. You know, I tried to make 12 dozen cookies of one kind and then multiply even that many to be able to share them. So I made cookies for everybody to take home in boxes. So you can imagine how many times I multiplied those cookies. So I had boxes of cookies to give to everyone when they left. It had to be tradition. I made so many different kinds. I loved to bake cookies back then.
You made a
Lots.
remember baking a lot of cookies with you.
I'd start early. Yeah, and got all the different ones, and I made sure everybody got the different kinds. I then started bringing them to work, and it really got hard too many different kinds of cookies to make. I stopped doing that. It's too many. A lot of work.
Who's the jokester in the family?
She is. She is the jokester.
You are, right?
Yeah.
You're the jokester.
What was the favorite one that you guys liked? You and your friend Samantha?
The stop ahead one.
Right.
You tell that one.
That's right.
Tell us how that came about.
That's a sign that says stop ahead. And I said, look, there's a head in the road. And it says stop ahead.
Yeah, I think I first heard it when you were teaching me how to drive.
Yeah. Samantha was cracking up.
Yeah, she still talks about it. So. She still does. So she remembers.
Ahead in the road.
Yep.
Goofy.
That's what they used to put on there, stop ahead. They don't do that anymore. They just put stop.
And they still have stop ahead signs.
Oh, yeah.
Not too many of them. Got most of them disappeared.
Grandma, were you always the one people came to talk to?
Oh, yeah. I always told the kids when they were young or old, no matter if they were teenagers, if it's 2 a.m, 3 a.m, you got a problem, don't stay in bed. Wake me up. I'll get up and we'll sit and talk it out. I always wanted to talk everything out and try to solve it. If I can, I'll find somebody that can help you. I'm the one that would sit there for hours and just listen. Tim would come up to me and say, Mom, I got a problem. I can still hear her to this day. I don't know what to do. Mom, what should I do? What should I do? We'll take care of it. We did. We got it somehow. Lexi still remembers that. I used to sit with her a lot. And she'd say, I don't know what to do, Grandma. I don't know what to do. And we solved it. I can't always answer it, but I'm here to listen.
Right. Sometimes that's all someone needs. So.
Yeah. I'm always here.
All right. What was most important to you when raising your family?
Make sure that they have a better life than what I had, so that they don't have to live on welfare like I had to do for 12 years and have food in it, because we didn't have food. Sometimes I would have just a jar of mayonnaise my mom would have and peanut butter and bread. And so sometimes I had 7 sandwiches of that because there was nothing in there. So we struggled. We didn't have the food, and I said, I don't ever want a life like that. I even had a social worker that took my coat away from me because she took it to her daughter. And I said, please, I'll fight and I'll make sure I get a home for my kids, and I'm going to make sure I work hard and they have a better life than I had. And I proved that they did do that.
What about you, Grandpa? What was most important to you when raising a family?
To make sure that they learn something in life. And I try to always show them different things that they can do around the house, like electrical, plumbing, stuff like that. And
That's true.
if they go to school and learn something in there, they end up getting a good education, and they ended up getting a good job.
You always say it's only money. Where did that come from?
Well, that was a saying that because people would worry so much, and I said, it's only money, don't worry about it right now. Because you can go back and make more if you have to.
It's true. You'll never get worries again, but you
That's
can always
right.
make more money.
Some people just have a nervous breakdown when it happens to them.
That's something, even when we would travel, we never worried. We had to go out and travel. I didn't say, oh, we got to worry about it. Enjoy yourself. We'll worry about the money later. Charge it now. Have what you get, your gift that you want, because you aren't going to come back again. Chances are you won't be back. They're like going to Disney. If you see that toy and you really want that, get it for them, because chances are you won't be back here for many years.
I agree. Are there any parts of your life that really shaped you?
Like what shaped me?
Yeah, made you who you are today.
Well, that's pretty much what it is. It's the lifestyle the hard work that I had to do to get to that level. Because of the rough life that I had when I started as a child. Was very shy, but I had to work hard to get to where I was. And when we got married, that's what I knew I had to do things differently when I was very quiet and found out as I was in high school life, I had to be a person that had to speak out because people were stepping all over me. They would make fun of me because I was so skinny, make fun of me. And I soon got to the point where I was a person that was going to just start talking back and start saying, don't put up with it. And that's how I am at work. I don't take crap from anybody because of the fact that I'll come back at them and say something right back at them. I'm not a shy, quiet person like I used to be. And I learned that you have to learn to stick up for yourself. If you don't, they'll run right all over you. And I stick up for other people that I see my friends are shy, I'll go right up and talk to them and say, I'll be the one to talk. I'm the one that started. After when I'm on a job, I'll be the one to go in there and say, hey, listen, we've got a problem here. Let's sit down and talk. And I went in there all by myself and I'd talk. We got this problem. I've gotten it taken care of because of me. Oh, I think we're going to lose her. I thought I'd lose my job. No, you don't lose your job. You tell them they can't fire you for what you want. If you need air conditioning, if you need fans, you need something, fight for what you need. They can't fire you for it. And that's what I've always been doing.
When you look at your family today, how does it make you feel?
Very proud of what they accomplished.
Hmm?
They accomplished more than we could probably gained in our life. And there's nobody that I can think of right now that is really hurting bad. My youngest grandson, he's trying his best to get ahead in life himself. So I am proud that all of them are going to make it in life.
That's true.
What are you happiest about when you think about your life?
Look what we succeeded in doing. Just think, the two of us, if we've never met, look at what we've done.
Right?
Just seeing all the kids and see that it's because of us too.
Yeah.
That's what you got to think about.
Kids,
It makes you so
great
excited,
grandkids.
and it makes you happy. At least that's how I feel. I'm proud of it.